Page 26, we got it highlighted there. I want to go over a couple things there. The capital purchases, we left this for the fire hydrants, 32,420. That number may be more or less, you know, maybe depending on how many fire hydrants the council puts in next year, and 20 down, next year starting July. And then the rural fire, last year we gave 40,000 to Oakland to buy their tankers, which we took that out. It's 81. We took that out, so it's only 41 goes to.
So that was a one-time deal, though.
Yeah, it's one time.
So it shouldn't be.
That's why I took them out. And
Hey, how about the 700,000 infrastructure we had last year? You took it out.
actually it was 250.
Not that one, not the Harbor Freight, 700-some thousand infrastructure for park across the interstate. There's one there for $700-some thousand for infrastructure. And then we had 250 for Harbor Freight.
Yeah, Harbor Freight got 250.
I understand that, but 700 for the infrastructure. I can you through that infrastructure?
Well, the 750 for the infrastructure that's for Wyman Gordon. That came. That was a state grant. Came in as revenue and then went out as an expense. Through the state. The state gave us the money for that, which was nice.
We counted it in our.
It's not in here because it basically came through. We ran it through Fund 45. But I mean, page 28 is transfer station. That's Charlie Brown. I reduced the professional contractual service from 114 down to 100. And the reason I did that is because we're pretty much done with the vertical and horizontal expansion. Once we get the trees removed, hopefully by the end of June at the latest, we can get those trees cut down at the landfill, and then we can go ahead and do the horizontal and vertical expansion.
What? On the recreation, I know we had a recreation meeting. We were talking about giving Lakeview a little bit more money. They're down there with a part-time employee and
right.
They don't have, I mean, they actually need a little help. Just we talked about maybe giving them what 15,000 too. What we give out, and I don't see it in there.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. See what we can do on that part. I know the budget committee did talk about it. What do you think?
Well, just break it down by the population and give the whatever you need to do it. The 15,000, the Lakeview just raise Lakeview, Latta, and Dillon.
Do it that way.
Do it by population and divide it into the amount of money, and whatever the lowest one gets, make sure they all treated at the same spot. That way, Lakeview will get more, Latta get more, and Dillon get more.
I want to make a comment on that. I know somebody said we can't tell the city of Dillon what to do with the money. But we know that 50,000 goes to the golf course. I'm not against the golf course, but those kids ain't getting none of that 50,000. Like Latta's having to do and Lakeland's having to do. They got 44 members at the golf course, and we taking $50,000 of the taxpayers' money and give to them. I'm not against the golf course, but if we're gonna be right, let's treat them all right. Like just we said, out the same spoon.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, one of the.
People in Latta deserve just as much as the ones in Dillon. The ones in Lakeview deserve just as much.
Like the money.
I don't know if we lined up right.
The money is one issue. That's right. But I mean, it is the one thing we do ask them to do, which is Lakeview, Latta, and Dillon, is that any what I call the county's kids, what I call the kids that live in the county, they don't live in the city. We ask the city of Dillon, we ask the town of Latta, we ask the town of Lakeview not to charge them an in-city and out-of-city rate. So therefore, you know, in some communities throughout South Carolina, if you're a child and you live outside the city limits and you provide that level, then that's what it is. You know what I mean?
This would be my recommendation. I'm not counting the boys. I'm only one captain.
No, that's fine. I mean,
if we got 75, let's give the city of Dillon 25, give the town of Lakeview 25, and the town of Latta 25. That'd be my recommendation. Give them all 25 apiece.
No.
So you gonna give the golf course? You gonna give the golf course?
No, I never was for that, but I voted for it back in the day because it was I saw where we had to have that when we bring it in the industry. We had to have golf course.
I understand that.
Let me too small. And to get the same amount as Dillon, that's all I'm saying.
I fully agree with you on that, but what I'm getting at, we know that we know that $50,000, none of it is going to those kids out there for burning that. I mean, not burning the city.
I feel like,
Can't we specify that they use it with the
I
kids?
feel like we give it to Dillon, they got a town council, just like we got a county council. I think they know where they should spend the money, but if we do, I think we give it to them, they can spend it where they want to. They ain't got to put it in the golf course, they ain't putting the splash pad, but let them decide on.
I understand that, I fully respect what they do for water company, but we need to put some kind of stipulation where it goes to where it's supposed to be. I mean, we put stipulation on other money we give people, we should put money, you know.
Here's what I think the hang-up is, here's what I think the hang-up is.
And I'm not against the golf course, but I just think the kids ain't getting what they supposed to be
But
getting.
I don't think there's no statute that will support what we're saying. I don't think there's nothing that supports that they've got to appropriate the money at a certain place, just like with us, because it came up a while back. There's no statute that supports that we have to appropriate the $1,000 that you know, there's no criterion, is what I'm saying. We can pretty much, by statute, give it to anybody we want to. I don't think there's no statute support what we got to do, or what the city would have to do with the money when we give it to them. I think that's what they do.
If you give it to them for recreation, I mean, I know that's big recreation, but couldn't we
I don't think there's no statute support what you're saying. What you saying, Mr. Calvin, sounds real good, but I don't think there's no statute that will support what you're saying. I don't think we can put a mandate on them as to what they have to do. By statute, I don't think we can.
I'd love to see Louder and Lakeview get the same thing as Dillon, but we don't have the population, Lakeview don't have the population. We wouldn't be doing them taxpayers right if we took it from Dillon, because they got so much more population than we got.
How much recreation money do we have here? That's what we.
That's like I said, we give 75, we got totally budget 75.
75,000.
We give 50 to the city of Dillon. We give 15 to Lida and 10 to Lakeview. So that's what we do.
And you doing that by population.
Well,
That's what they say.
But that's not enough for Louder and Lakeview.
That's what I'm
All that
talking
money's going back to the general fund, and we had talked about this years ago about possibility about them getting purchase orders, like when they need anything to do with recreation, getting purchase orders through us, but we just decided to let them handle the money they wanted to handle and stuff, you know, but like I said, it goes to the general fund, and like I said, I don't, but, I mean, I'm sure they used it, I don't know what they used it on, but you know, that's what it's sent for, so, and like I said, a lot of ladies getting their stuff when they order and stuff, but now, I think Kenny was, gosh, last year he was.
19?
Yeah, 19,000.
Why can't we just take, I mean, don't take all the 50 from them, but give Lida a little bit of it, and Lakeview a little bit more of it.
Right. Listen, I love Dillon County. But I hate to say this, but I represent Dillon too, man.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want to take a nickel from Lakeview, I don't want to take a nickel from Latta, I don't want to take a nickel from the Dillon kids either. I'm all for the kids in Dillon County. But if you think I'm gonna sit here and let you talk about taking money from Dillon and giving it to other towns, based on population, if you want Lakeview to have 15,000, use that as the benchmark. Divide Lakeview's people into 15,000
I agree with
and
that.
come up with $1 per kid, per person living in the city of Lakeview, multiply it by Latta and give Latta more, and then multiply it by Dillon. But I'm not gonna sit here representing Dillon, South Carolina as part of my council district and let the people up here get shortchanged. What the city council does with their money is none of my darn business. The state don't tell us how to vote. I ain't telling Dillon, I don't interfere in Lakeview or Latta city council business, and I believe we'd all be better if we all stayed out of their business, if you don't know the truth about it.
I agree with you, Mr. Moody. Those people in Lida, those people in Lakeview deserve just as much as these in Dillon.
I said give it to them.
But, you know.
They get more now if you do your math, Robbie. Do the math.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Y'all know we ain't gonna fuss, we're gonna be calm. But we're gonna look out for people in Lakeview and Lida, just like we do the people in Dillon.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Do the math.
That's what I'm trying to do, but I'm not trying to take the deal.
But if you don't wanna add nothing to the thing, add on no more money, how you gonna get the extra money? You know, play don't have it, what I'm saying. If you ain't got so much money, he said to deal with, how you gonna get it?
So you saying 2 kids should get as much as 100 kids?
No, that ain't what I'm saying.
That is what I'm saying.
You do a percentage per person, they may be getting more than what they should be getting now. If you do it like that, you might be getting more than what they should be getting. If you go percentage-wise per person.
they
And
are,
I ain't got a problem with the kids getting money for recreation.
they are.
They're all living in Dillon County.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
About 5, 6 years ago, we had a family move in from Fayetteville, and he signed his kids up for football, and there was a registration fee. You know, he questioned it and stuff, and I said, well, how do y'all do it in Fayetteville? I know y'all don't want to hear this word, but they have so many meals or a meal that went for recreation, that's where they raise their money for. And I'm not saying, you know, we cut out registration fees, but they have so many meals that went for recreation, and they divide it amongst their community or county towns and stuff. And that's how they raise their money. But now they had no registration fees on.
You talk about a bigger population, you talking about.
I agree. I agree, but like I said, he said that just helped out all the little, you know, the small town stuff like that. I mean, like I said, that's just something that was brought up one time.
We might need to leave that like it is.
Move on, you can have that.
Oh, let's move on.
Yeah.
We know where we're at. We know what we got to do on this too. We'll talk about that one. And then the budget committee will take a look at that too and see. Page 18 was what Robbie was mentioning about. I did take out, that was a Harbor Freight project here. It was $250. I took that out. And we've already given it to them this year. That's for the Harbor Freight. That was part of their expansion. Harbor Freight, that they built a retail store in the proximity of that intersection out there at exit 190. So, which they did do, which they've already done that. So that's taken out. The next page on page 33 was the allocation of the council on aging. We did increase there to $18,700. And I'll double check that, see if that's correct on that. And really, that's it. Basically, it comes out to whatever my number is, which is $17,901. I'll quickly go over these here too.
Can I ask you a quick question, sir?
Yeah, no.
I know the hour is getting late and the sun is almost gone down. So let me say this. Is there any increase or inputs in positions or that's going to be put into the budget?
Not at this time. No. Okay. Fund 20 is our capital project. is our debt service fund. And you can see up here where it says 20 debt service fund. As you can see, last year we brought in about $1,306,000. But I've knocked it up. It's kind of really the debt service is set. We set it in the budget, but technically the auditor's supposed to set the debt service millage, whatever it is. So I just knocked it up to $1,358,000 on that too. So that's debt services we set at 20.5 mils. So then really whatever it is, it pays the debt service on that too. And as you can see, last year we brought in that, and we spent a little less. We actually brought in a little more than we spent last year. But this year we'll actually be over a little bit.
Mr. Dillon,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just brought one thing to my attention. Do you have anything for litter control added in this budget? He said he don't see it in there.
We don't.
Mr. Chairman?
We don't have anything. At this point we don't have it in there. But we may go back and look and see where we're at.
Doesn't make no add on it.
At this point, yeah. Project 45 is our Fund 45, which is green. And the way we did it on this one here is basically, the only difference is that this year we budgeted over here, it's on the right-hand column where it says recommended approved, $1,543,260 is we do a GO bond for $1,500,000, and in the Harbor Freight, we signed a lease agreement for 6 months, so you're talking July, August, September. They may come back in and redo that lease agreement with that, but right there, I just added that to that $1,500,000 if we do a GO bond for $1,500,000. The Tri-County Committee right now, the way it's going with the Harbor Freight project, they may still owe us $397,000. They'll either pay us that, or we'll take it out of the first payment that Harbor Freight does this year. So one way we'll either get it from them or take it out of the first payment from them on that. That's the revenue. Flip to page 2 is the actual expenses. There's about $593,000 left in the capital project sales tax money left for Lakeview infrastructure area. It's $593. Ladder's a little less than the $292. I know we spent some this year that I didn't take it off there, but it's around $260 or $270 somewhere in there. So it's whatever it is. And I need to go back and look at that too, make sure. But that's where those monies are. The next page is the big one here. Is the $1 million that we're going to do for the gas line, which is to be for Harbor will be for Wyman Gordon. It says gas line expense, and in professional services $200,000. That's the RDA grant we got last year from Marlboro Electric Co-op, and we'll basically Wyman Gordon has to provide me documentation that they spent the money before I can give it to you. So it's kind of a they have to spend it first and then give it back to me on that too, that part there too. Fund 45, the only difference between Fund 45 is, in previous years is, we ran all, if you look at, on page 2, we ran all of our Harbor Freight projects through there. We ran our Justice Center through there, our infrastructure, the spec building, dealing with Wyman Gordon, we ran through there. Then if you're on page 2 on that page, it's talking about Wyman Gordon, Harbor Freight, and we got a new project with Harbor Freight with this new project here. This project, this fund here will actually be consumed back into the Fund 10. The auditor, like Archie said, will go back into Fund 10, but it helps us keep up with it on that part here too. You know, we should be probably, I don't know, probably around $1 million, $1.5 million or so. We'll probably run over on Fund 45 because of the Justice Center, the Wyman Gordon project, and the other project. So our cash flow will be down as we projected probably next year than what it was this year, probably around 7.5. We're at 9.5 now. It should be around 7.5, somewhere in there, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, somewhere in there. And the debt service should be around $1.7 million. So we should, you know, instead of 1.8, we should be around 1.7. So, I mean, like I said, the last couple of years, last year and this year, we spent some good bit of money. But there is a light, they say, at the end of the tunnel. And next year, we ought to see that light start coming out and just start getting itself out of the hole. As Harbor Freight and Wyman Gordon comes on, we're going to hopefully.
You know what they say about that light in the tunnel now? And some people say before they go out, they see a light.
I hope that's not the case. Archie, I hope that's not the case. I mean, I do understand sometimes that light is a different light, you know what I mean? But I mean, from a financial standpoint, there is a light that seems to be at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we spent a good bit of money last year, this year concerning, you know, spec building and infrastructure and Wyman Gordon and Harbor Freight. But it's money that, you know, we knew we were going to spend, but as they come on line and start paying taxes, we'll start seeing some of that money come back to us.
Mr. Governor, I mean, did you get a letter from our county attorney saying he's going to resign? Did you get one of those?
I got a letter, I don't know if he said he was going to resign, but he did get a letter or something.
He didn't say.
He never did say, he just said he
You
wanted to
bring somebody on transition?
and make a transition, yeah.
When you got one of those letters,
I got it yesterday.
you know, 60 days and that kind of stuff.
Just
Gotta go make sure we're clear on that.
Well, I think we had a good budget meeting today. We got his information. A lot of it I don't understand. I'm gonna study it. If I have to come up with any questions, I'm gonna call Clay and try to find out. Want y'all to do the same thing, and y'all come up with some ideas. We'll have another full workshop whenever y'all feel like we need one, and try to get this thing straightened out. And everybody be on the same line, know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, we're looking at no millage increase. In this budget here is no proposed millage increase. There's some, we're looking at some adjustments, possibly some fees, but it's not going to be, it'll be small, a small amount. Rich, I don't know if you got anything else.
No,